Hello my fellow skateboarders, longboarders and freelance skaters. This is Srinivasan, a fine art photographer and a distance skater. Happy to meet you all in my another episode. Hope you guys got an idea about land paddling from my previous video. As I said earlier in that video, we're going to build some DIY or a custom land paddle. And I also mentioned in the very same episode that we're going to build some handle and a push tip, like 3 types of push tips for that DIY or a custom land paddle, as we already have the middle element, which is the bow staff. Okay, well, people might wonder, why isn't a bow staff as in itself a complete land paddle? You know, why you can't use a bow staff just like that? You know, that's a good thought. I asked the same question to myself. In fact, I tried it for the first time to steer my longboard just with the bow staff without any handle or any push tip. If you have seen my previous video, which is about land paddling, there is a short clip right before the titles wherein I will be riding some Chinese donk longboard, and I will be using a land paddle, which is nothing but this bow staff without any handles or without any push tips. So when I tried to ride my Chinese equivalent donk board, or paddle my Chinese equivalent donk board with just a bow staff without any push tips or without any handles, I kind of lost grip or hold of this bow staff after a few times of paddling or paddling for a few distance, and it kind of slipped from my hand and it fell down. And you might see that in a clip, but it's slightly far away from my camera or GoPro, and just because I just want this to be a natural occurrence, I don't want to stage it right in front of the camera, you know. So I lost hold of the bow staff because my hand got sweatier and my grip got loose and it kind of slipped away from my hand. And few other reasons why it may not be so suitable for you to use just a plain bow staff is if you are using a plain hand without any gloves or something, you know, like after paddling for a few kilometers or few miles, you know, this plain head of this bow staff might bruise your palm, you know. And even if you're using it with your gloves or something, you know, after a few kilometers or a few miles of paddling, it might strain your wrist and it might strain your palm too much because you don't have a proper grip or handle to hold on to it. And coming to this part wherein you're trying to use your other hand to leverage this land paddle, you know, it might get sweatier and you might lose the grip of this bow staff. And coming to the bottom side of this bow staff, what will happen is when it comes to contact to the rough roads, you might lose few inches of your bow staff when you're riding for longer distances, like for a few kilometers or few miles, you know, it may reduce to a few inches from the actual height of this bow staff, which is 5.5 feet or so. So for all these reasons, you know, I find this not practically convenient to use a plain bow staff to use it as a land paddle to steer your longboard. So why a bow staff? I did consider other options, you know, like a pine dowel or a dowel stick. You don't get that in India. If you want one, you might want to go to a carpenter and make it one for you, you know, got to explain the idea and custom build one for you, and that's going to shoot up over my budget. And I did consider other options like pole wall poles or some galvanized pipes, you know. Those are on the pricier side and on a little bit on the heavier side, as I'm thinking to paddle for long distances, you know. When it is heavy, you can't paddle for long distances. I even consider some ice hockey bat, you know, that those are also pricey, you know. So, and I also thought about why not buy the SUP stand-up paddles, which I showed you guys from the land paddling video, you know, but what happened was it's designed for water sport. So those things have adjustable handles which are friction based handles. You cannot use it for land use. You're going to put your weight, a considerable weight to paddle your board. So it was also pricey anyways. So, and why not buy a proper, land paddle from those websites like a Kahuna land paddle stick or a Brap stick, Those are again over my budget. I couldn't afford it right now. So considering all these things and summing up for good stuff, like I want something cheaper, which is durable, which has some, which can give me some good rebound energy, and which is also under my budget. I couldn't think anything else but a bow staff. So guess that's pretty much all the doubts that I need to ask myself before I get into this DIY project, So without any further ado, let's go and build something. So guys, we are here to build something now, and for the convenience and to value your time, I'm not going to show you any of the cutting part. I'm just going to show you just the assembly or already built stuff. Okay, so for the handles, we're going to build the handle first now, and for the handles I would like to have one T-joint which is like 32 mm. Okay, so this is a T-joint. This is of 32 mm diameter. Inside ID or inner diameter is 30 mm. Okay, and some pipe which is again 30 mm in diameter. Okay, and this is about 15 centimeters. You could buy a meter or two length of this 30 mm pipe and make use of it. Cut short as much as your length, as you need it. Okay, and we might need two close end caps. Okay, this is of 32 mm again. Okay, so hope you guys can see it's 32 mm. Okay, it's like 32 mm. Okay, and a small hand grip. This is for your bow staff, and this one is from the cricket bat. You could go to a local sports store and get a local hand grip for your cricket bat, which would actually fit your bow staff. My bow staff is about 2.85 mm in diameter, so I think it should fit. You might need a saw as well. This saw is double-sided and it's suitable to saw the PVC pipes as well as the wood. Okay, so for the handles, these are the required parts. You could see that I have built the hand grips with the bow staff. I couldn't get the entire hand grip till this part of the bow staff because it was slightly on the tighter side, or on the, it had too much friction with the bow staff. So I cut that grip tape, put some glue there. I used some glue stick, and I used some zip tag or zip ties to put that in place. So now I can easily hold this bow staff by the grip, and it will not slip away from my hand, and I can steer my land paddle with my bare hands or with gloves. So this is how things will look once you cut them down. I also took some liberty to brush it with an emery paper. This is an 180 grain emery paper. I use this in a notion to use a sprayer paint on my PVC pipes. I also grounded all the logos out, and there was some extra edge to this close end caps. I also grounded that out and cut two small ends for the handle. So this is how your handle will look like without an assembly. This T-joint or T-coupling in itself is a complete handle for your bow staff or your land paddle. You might want to use a blowtorch or heat this up a little bit and beat this down to look like an kahuna or drop stick handle. As in itself, this is a complete handle, but I would like a proper finish for my land paddle handle. If you like the open ends, you could just use it just like that, but I like it closed. So let's assemble this land paddle handle. This one goes to the bottom, and you put one end, you put the other end here, and close it with the end cap like this. Close this one with the end cap, and this is how your bow staff handle will look like. Okay, and let me show you guys how it will look once I assemble to my bow staff or the land paddle. Okay, so might be a little off to the camera or on camera. I think it's on camera. So you just slide that inside. Okay, it's going to stay by friction for now. You could put some glue or add some threads to have some extra friction. By the way, so that's how your handle will look like, and that's how your grip will look like. So you hold by the grip and use this handle to leverage or generate energy to move forward. Okay, so that's our handle, and I've got something to say about the handle as well. So let me remove it from the bow staff and place it aside. Just a second here. Hope you guys can see it. It slides off like that. It's easy. It's modular. That's why it is. As I said, I'm going to spray paint this PVC handle. That's why I kind of brushed it with 180 grain emery paper. You can also use a primer instead of using an emery paper. You could use a primer spray and use the spray paint. It will dry in 15 minutes or half an hour. Okay. If you don't have a primer or any other spray, this one is like a colorless fixative. I use this for my pencil arts. I spray a coat of this and paint it over, pencil art over my chart, building up layers, or you can use this as well, but it will come off much faster, than the primer. So to me, using an salt paper is kind of a permanent solution. So that's our handle, and it's ready. Peace. So coming to the push tips, I told you I'll be building some 3 types of push tips, and all these ideas were inspired from YouTube. So I take a moment to thank all the DIY YouTubers, and I, as usual, bought all the products from Amazon and Decathlon. So without them, I wouldn't be able to do this video in such a short notice or duration. So I take a moment to thank Amazon and Decathlon as well. So how I differ from other builds, I am thinking of a modular design. So coming to the push tips, this is the first one that I want to show you guys. This is how it looks. These are nothing but a shoe or a feet to the walker or your chair. Okay, so this is inside diameter like 30 millimeter or 3 centimeters, which is almost equal to the bow staff. Okay, so you could get it for various sizes, 160 mm, 300 mm, whatever you want, not 330 mm. Okay, so these are actually feet and shoe to your walker, and I'll show you how it fits to the bow staff now. So this is the bow staff, bottom of the bow staff. This is about 2.85 mm. Like 2.85 centimeters. Okay, we are going to use one of the shoes or feet to fit into the bow staff directly. So you just push the feet just into the bow staff, and just like that, your bow staff is ready to paddle. So as it is, it has the hand grip and the handles. So your land paddle is complete with this feet itself. This is the first of a kind push tip. Okay, and you could go ahead and ride your longboard with this just like that. Okay. Peace. So here you have the second one. I wouldn't call it the second one. It's almost the first one kind, it's very similar actually. This is also the feet and shoe of some sort of walker or chair. Okay, you just straight away put into a chair or the walker and make use of it. Okay, and this one is of a 35 mm width, or 32 or 33 kind, So what is the difference between the first and the second one? I'll just show you in a second. Instead of fitting this shoe or feet to the bow staff straight away, I'm going to fit this to this 30 mm 15 centimeter length PVC pipe. I'm just going to put this feet to this PVC pipe, make it a tight fit, and put this PVC pipe onto the bottom of the bow staff. Okay, so why this idea? This kind of helps the bow staff to adjust its height in case if you are running short of the height. Suppose you are buying some 5 feet or 5.5 feet bow staff, but you wanted some 6 or 6.5 feet of bow staff for your length or the style you're paddling your longboard. You're using much more shorter acute forward angle to push your longboard. In that case, if you want to adjust your height of the bow staff, you can put your feet to a PVC pipe like this and put this PVC pipe onto the bottom of the bow staff. Let me show that in a second for you. So hope you guys can see, this is the bottom side of the bow staff. I'm just taking this and sliding it inside. So this is going to stay onto the bow staff by friction, because like when you ram this on the ground, bow staff will go inside even more, and form a firm grip to the PVC pipe. Because these bow staff or bamboos, they kind of have these sheath scars. These are diaphragms between each nodes on the bamboo stick. These are so the bamboo stick is not straight all the way, and it's not of even size all the way. Like as I said, the bottom tip of the bow staff is around 28.5 mm or so. So it's not the same here, or it's not the same here. Actually, it's more or less same, but it's not accurate. So because of that sheath scars that you will find in the bamboo stick or this bow staff, that as it is pushing inside the PVC pipe, it will find its strength to grip onto the PVC pipe. So you don't have to glue it, or you don't have to put some thread to tighten it. It will just fix. And when you're done with it, you can actually genuinely use your hand to remove this modular design of feet or shoe from the bow staff and place a new one, or use a different kind of push tip. Okay, peace. So guys, this is the third push tip we are going to make right now. Literally this is the third one, technically the second one, because the first two push tips are almost similar, because they are just the feet or shoe of a walker. One straight away goes to the bow staff, the other one goes to the PVC pipe and then goes to the bow staff. So it's almost similar. So the third one is made out of a tennis ball, a PVC pipe. Okay, kindly forgive me. It rolled outside. So we're going to make it out of a tennis ball and a PVC pipe. That's the actual push tip. These are the aids that's going to help us make this push tip. Okay, I'm using a glue gun to glue this stuff. You can use your glue of your choice, like there is some PVC seal like this. This is the one we used it to seal our handles. Okay, and you have all fix from Fevicol. You could use this too. Then you have M seal. You could use this as well. Then you have Fevikwik. You could use this as well. there are plenty of glue options for you guys when you come to building this push tip for you, but I find glue stick to be much more easier for me. So the idea is you might want to cut your tennis ball. Ooh, that's disheartening, right? But you got to do it because you need a push tip for your land paddle, which is much more cooler. So you might want to cut your tennis ball like this. It'll form some petals, 4 petals. You might want to open that petals, then put your PVC pipe inside like this. And you might want to use these zip tags to tie those petals to the PVC pipe and glue them with your glue gun or your glue of the desired choice. Okay, so that's how this third push tip is going to be built. Okay, let me show you the final product which I built it. It's already done because just to save the time, let me show that product. So guys, this is the final product which I built. This is an actual tennis ball of the brand Vicky. This will cost you about $70 or so. It's much cheaper actually. So what I did is, the same fashion, I cut open the tennis ball in the plus design, then open the petals, put the PVC pipe inside, put a zip tag for each petal separately, then used my glue gun to glue the entire thing. So this design is pretty stable right now. This tennis ball as it is will have enough grip to hold your PVC pipe. You don't need any zip tags or glue, like even if you use it to paddle this way. But the problem is, like, there are chances because of the length of the land paddle that you have, which is like 5.5 feet to 6 feet. When you swing your land paddle, if it is not glued or tied like this, your tennis ball, there are chances like it might come off. It might slip and thrown out of the bow staff or your land paddle. So that's why you're doing some precautionary measures. So this is the third design and that's how it looks, and don't worry about the colors and everything. We're going to paint it all black with the spray paint later. So this is our third push tip design, and let me show you guys how it goes into the land paddle or your bow staff. So guys, here we have the bow staff, the bottom side. Then you just slide your PVC pipe which has a tennis ball to it at the end. So this is another push tip for your bow staff. This is modular, so just in case like your tennis ball has loosened up in this design, you can easily remove this tennis ball PVC stuff from the bow staff and take your other push tip and put it straight away to your bow staff and start paddling. So no one can stop you if your design is going bad or if your design failed in between your ride. So these modular designs, that's how it helps you. Like if one thing got spoiled, you could make one more of this and keep it as a spare and use it on your way. That's how it works, and it's pretty easy for you to keep your journey continuing. So that's our third land paddle, push tip, a PVC pipe and a tennis ball. Peace.